16 teams, 4 rounds. First team to get 16 more wins gets the glory of hoisting the Stanley Cup. In these playoffs, anything can happen. One win, one goal, one bad call, one line combination, one goalie save, one fight, just one of any hockey term you could think of could affect the entire outcome of a series and be the difference between winning and losing the Stanley Cup. Out of these 16 teams in the playoffs, all 16 of these teams can win the Stanley Cup. Remember, the LA Kings won the Stanley Cup as an 8th seed, and they also won the Stanley Cup after being down 3-0 in the first round against the San Jose Sharks. So sometimes it's just making the playoffs that can put you in contention of winning it all. Today's video I will make my 2016 NHL Stanley Cup Playoff Predictions. So let's get started. Now, I haven't really watched a lot of hockey this season, but when it gets to the playoffs, I tend to watch it a lot more. First off, they changed the system last year. They have the wild card positions now. So the 4-1 seeds, we have the Dallas Stars, Anaheim Ducks, who struggled earlier in the season, but recovered enough to have a number 1 seed. Washington Capitals and the Florida Panthers, who are having their best season in franchise history. So I'm going to start from the top left of the bracket, just like I did for March Madness. Now, some of you have been waiting a long time for this, so I'm going to end your waiting right now. The first matchup, the Dallas Stars versus the Minnesota Wild. This is a very interesting series because the Dallas Stars and Minnesota Wild, they both have some talent on their teams. But I'm going to pick the Dallas Stars to win that series in 6 games. Next, we have the St. Louis Blues and the defending Stanley Cup champions, the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm going to pick St. Louis in this series to get an early 1-0 series lead, but then I see the Blackhawks coming back to win this in 7. So I really see the Blackhawks having to earn the series victory in this first round. Although if the Blues won this series, I wouldn't be surprised at all. But I like this to go all the way to 7 games. The Anaheim Ducks, who struggled throughout the year, at the beginning portion of the year, and the Nashville Predators. I'm going to pick the Anaheim Ducks to win this series in 6 games. Next, the Los Angeles Kings, who did not make the playoffs last year, and the San Jose Sharks. I'm going to pick the Los Angeles Kings to win this in 7. And no, I don't think the Kings are going to come back from being down 3-0. In fact, I think they'll have to maybe come down from... Maybe they'll lose 1 at home, maybe either game 1 or 2. I like them to win in 7, though. On the next side of the bracket, we have the Washington Capitals and the Philadelphia Flyers, who had to pretty much earn their way in and maybe rely on Boston to lose a game. I think the Flyers, they're really hot coming into the playoffs, and so are the Penguins, who I'm going to mention in a little bit. I'm going to pick the Capitals to win this in 7 games. I think the Flyers will make it interesting. I think the Flyers will maybe steal 1 in Washington, and Washington will get 2 in Philadelphia, and then it'll go all the way to 7 games. Next, we have the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are my team, versus the New York Rangers. Now, the last 2 years, the Penguins have ran into the New York Rangers in the playoffs, and they lost both of those series. But I think I think they're going to turn around this year with the additions to Phil Kessel. I think it's going to really help. Considering Malkin is still out and probably will be out for the series, maybe he might be able to return. Maybe if they go far enough, maybe Malkin will be able to play in this playoffs this year. So I'm going to pick Pittsburgh to win this in 6 games. Though I don't think it's going to be very easy for Pittsburgh, because Henrik Lundqvist is a great goalie into the playoffs. But I think this is the year that Pittsburgh will crack Henrik Lundqvist. The Florida Panthers having their best season in franchise history versus the New York Islanders. Now, I was looking on my Twitter feed because most of the people I follow on Twitter, people that follow me, are hockey fans. And some are Islanders fans who don't think they're even going to win this series. I guess I'll go with the fans on the Twitter page. I'm going to pick the Florida Panthers to win in 6 games. I just feel like a team that has the best season in their franchise deserves to go past the first round of the playoffs. So I'm going to pick the Panthers to win in 6 games. Now the Tampa Bay Lightning and Detroit Red Wings. Now this is a rematch of last year's first round match between these two. The Lightning won that series and went on to the Stanley Cup final, only to lose to the Blackhawks. Although the Red Wings will have a little bit of motivation, as one of their players is retiring at the end of this playoffs. I'm not sure on the name pronunciation. Somebody comment it below if you know that. But I'm going to pick the Lightning to win in 6. But I think Detroit's going to fight them hard all the way until games 5 and 6. I think they'll tie the series after 4 at 2 apiece. Then Tampa Bay will win the next 2 to move on and play the Panthers in the next round. We're on to the second round now. We have the Dallas Stars versus the Chicago Blackhawks. This series is going to be really, really competitive. I'm actually going to pick the Stars to get an early 1-0 series lead, kind of like the last one. The Blackhawks are going to have to earn this one as well. I think they're going to earn it. I like them to get it in 7. Next, we have the Anaheim Ducks versus Los Angeles Kings. I have the Kings winning this one in 6. Then next, we have the Capitals and Pittsburgh Penguins. I like the Penguins to win that in 7 games. Final match of the second round, we have the Florida Panthers versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm going to pick the Lightning to win this in 5. So, into our conference finals, we have on the Western Conference side, we have the Chicago Blackhawks and the Los Angeles Kings. And on the Eastern Conference side, we have the Pittsburgh Penguins and Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, starting off with the Western Conference final, it almost seems that if history repeats itself, the winner of the Western Conference final between the Blackhawks and the Kings, or whoever comes out of the Western Conference side, ends up winning the whole Stanley Cup. So I'm going to pick the Los Angeles Kings to beat the Blackhawks in 7. That's going to be the series to watch. It should be an instant classic. And on the Eastern Conference side, I like the Penguins to actually sweep the Tampa Bay Lightning. Maybe not necessarily sweep, but I think they'll have an easy time getting past the Lightning, as I think this year's Penguins team is probably the best they've had in a couple of seasons. So I like them to win either in a sweep or in 5 games. Then in the Stanley Cup final, we have the Los Angeles Kings versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. My Pittsburgh Penguins, my favorite team. However, I think this Stanley Cup final, the Pittsburgh Penguins will be outmatched by Los Angeles. I'm going to pick Los Angeles Kings to win it in 5. So your 2016 Stanley Cup champions will be the Los Angeles Kings. As you'll be able to see throughout this playoffs, the Los Angeles Kings will look to be playing with fueled by fire after not making the playoffs last year. And I think we'll be able to see that by how really efficient they'll play in the playoffs. Anyway, that is your hockey predictions video. I'll put my little bracket like this, that way you can see it. That way you can see all of that. Feel free to like and subscribe to my channel. I just eclipsed the 250 subscriber mark, a huge milestone for me. It really means a lot that you guys subscribe. You really keep this thing going. Also email me at birdtechjohnny@gmail.com, or tweet me during the Stanley Cup playoffs if you want to at JB Talk Sports. Also like the new Facebook page I created a couple of weeks ago. That'll do it for this video. Have a wonderful day, everyone.